Hi everyone, I'm Sydney with Ignite Studio. Today I'm going to be going over our bookbinding kit that you can find in our kit library and lots of different types of projects that you can do with the materials you'll find inside the kit. The first thing you'll find inside the kit is this instruction binder. The instruction binder has lots of different projects in it for lots of different skill levels, so definitely give it a flip through and you can find some different types of binding that maybe you didn't know about before. One of the beginner level bindings that you'll find inside the kit is this accordion style book, which is just paper folded together to make one really long book. It's a great type of binding for kids and beginners because there's no stitching involved. If stitching is something that you're looking for, you can also find instruction and materials to do this pamphlet stitch inside the kit. You can see this is a 5-hole one. At the end of the video, I'll show you how to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Inside the kit, you'll also find materials and instructions to do more advanced types of bookbinding, like this Japanese stab binding, which is these two right here, or something as advanced as a Coptic stitch, which is this braided stitch right here. So no matter your skill level, we've got instructions and materials ready to help you make your first book inside the kit. Inside the kit, you'll also find this book by Tom and Cindy Hollander that's got lots of case ideas and technical explanations for bookbinding. You'll also find a ruler, a foam punch board for punching your holes and sewing on. You'll find an awl, which is used to punch your holes in your paper. You'll find lots of tapestry needles, which are distinctive because of their big eyes, so they're easy to thread, and their blunt tips, so you won't hurt yourself while you're binding. You'll find a case full of extra needles, binder clips to keep your paper together, an X-Acto knife, and other materials that you might need for making your book. You'll find a bottle of PVA glue, which is a white pH neutral glue, so it's super great for works of paper and why it's so great for bookbinding. You'll find some materials to fill your new book out with, some embroidery thread for binding, and a round of beeswax. The beeswax is super helpful inside the kit for coating your embroidery thread with. You just take your thread through one of these holes right here and pull it through to coat your thread with beeswax. We do this in bookbinding because embroidery thread is cheap and easy to find, and it's the best way to bind books for crafters right now. But because it's made of cotton, it has a lot of elasticity to it that isn't so great for holding books together. The beeswax helps strengthen the thread and it'll help solidify your stitching for many years to come. Now I'm going to show you how to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch with instructions from the bookbinding kit itself. The things you'll need to do a pamphlet stitch are a cover material, your paper, a ruler, an awl and a punch board, a needle threaded with whatever type of thread you want to bind your books with, and a binder clip just to hold all your pages together. So a pamphlet stitch is called a pamphlet stitch because it's what they used to use before when everything was hand bound to bind pamphlets. So a pamphlet stitch will only hold together one signature made up of as many folios as you want. A folio is one piece of paper folded together, and a signature is multiple pieces of paper folded together. So you can see that this Coptic stitch book is made out of many signatures. So you'll take your signature and you'll fold it in half. I'm actually going to grab a bone folder from the pencil case located inside the kit just to make sure that crease is really crisp and clean so that my book will stay folded together. I've already cut down my cover paper to size, and I'm just going to line it up. You can see that I'm running a little short on cover paper on this side. I did that intentionally to show off the torn or deckled edge of the paper, but if you prefer a cut edge, you can use a paper cutter or scissors or an X-Acto knife to get that side really clean. Now that everything's lined up, I'm going to use a binder clip and just clip everything together so that it all stays in place. I'll do one on the other side too. All right. Since this is just a quick and easy book, I'm not really going to measure where I'm going to put my holes, but I do need 3 of them. I'm going to start about a 1/2 inch from the top and about a 1/2 inch from the bottom, and I'm just going to use the awl and work it all the way through. I want to make sure that I'm making a hole big enough for the needle to pass through. So I did the top and bottom holes about a 1/2 inch from the top and bottom respectively, and then one about in the center in between those 2 holes. All right, I'll set the awl aside. Now we're going to start our pamphlet stitch. So I have loaded this needle with some embroidery thread. I haven't tied a knot on either end, and it's just loose on that end. It's got a little tail. So you're going to start inside the book in this middle hole that you made. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go from inward, outward to your cover side and pull it all the way through until you're left with about 1 inch left of material inside your book. You want to hold on to that while you're binding so that it doesn't slip through. Now you're going to go outside and come in through the bottom hole from the cover side and pull it nice and tight and taut so your book stays together really well. Now you're going to go from the inside again out through the top hole and pull it all the way through. I'm still holding on to that tail on the inside to make sure that nothing falls apart. Pulling that super tight. Now we're on the outside of the cover again. I'm going to go back through this middle hole. Poked myself there, which is why I'm glad those needles are blunt. Pull it all the way through. That's what the binding looks like on the outside and on the inside. Now I'm just going to tie a knot. And then use some scissors to cut off all my tails. Remove the binder clips. And then I'm going to use my bone folder one more time on the outside just to really get that new stitch super crisp and clean on the edge of the book. And there you have it. You've got your very own sketchbook or journal, or you can write comics in here, keep notes in it, and you can do something as little and quick and easy as this, or you could do a 5-hole stitch. You could add more pieces of paper to it. Bookbinding is super customizable. You can make as many unique books as you could possibly come up with. Well, I hope that tutorial has inspired you to come down to Ignite and check out the bookbinding kit so that you can make all kinds of unique handmade books for yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to check out the QR codes that are located on the piece of paper on the lid of your kit, or ask a staff member for more materials or assistance. And thanks for watching, and I hope you guys will see you soon. Bye.